Do you regularly maintain your aquarium equipment? Just like the cars that we drive when we take them in to get their oil changes and do regular maintenance on them, we should be doing the same sort of maintenance on a regular basis to the equipment in our aquariums. We spend a lot of money on the equipment that we use to run these things, and we want it to run as efficiently as possible, and we want it to last for as long as possible. So this video, I'm going to give you a breakdown of all of the different things that you should regularly be maintaining on your aquarium that might take place outside of your regular maintenance. Hi there, I'm Hilary for Waterlogged on behalf of SaltwaterAquarium.com. Let's get started talking about the different things that you should be maintaining 4 or 5 times a year on your aquarium outside of your regular maintenance and water changes. I am going to start out at the top of my tank and work my way down. I know everybody's tanks are a little bit different, so hopefully this will give you a loose guideline on things that you should be regularly maintaining that maybe you didn't think about before. Starting at the top, first thing I encounter is my lights. Lights, we want the light to reach all the way down to our corals, and to make sure that that happens, we need to make sure that the lights themselves, the lens covers, are clean. Sometimes we can have dust buildup, you can have salt creep, a number of things can build up and reduce the intensity of the light that's coming out of there. So take a rag with some RODI water and clean those off, make sure they're nice and looking good. But you also need to clean the tops of your lights. That's where the fan typically sits. It's going to pull in the air to cool off the lighting unit, and if it's covered in dust, it's not going to be running as efficiently. It's going to overheat, and there's a good chance it's not going to last you as long as it should. So go ahead and get that dust out of there and get those lights cleaned. Moving down through the tank, the next thing I come to is the mesh screen. I know you might not have one of these, but if you do have something similar, make sure to keep that clean. This is another place that dust can build up, that salt creep can build up. If you feed through the top of the mesh, food waste can build up there. And just like that dirt that could be on the light lens, the buildup that's on your lid and your screen can affect the light that the corals are getting. So go ahead and take some RODI water, get this nice and clean, and then put it back on your tank. Now, as you're going along, if you happen to see salt creep anywhere, go ahead and clean that down. Make sure to get rid of that and make everything nice and pretty. Now, as I move down through my tank, the next thing that I'm going to come to is my wave makers. You might have Powerheads. Whatever you have, you should be maintaining those regularly as well. So go ahead, disconnect them, take them out of the tank, and take them apart according to your manufacturer's instructions and get those clean. A lot of times the manufacturers will have instructions either on their website or, if you're lucky, a YouTube video that tells you step by step how to take them apart, clean it, and then put it back together. Moving down through the tank, the next thing that I come to is actually the stand. Now you might not think to include this on a deep clean or a maintenance, but the tank stand is actually one of the most important parts of your setup. It's what holds your tank up. You want to visually inspect your tank stand. Make sure that there's no mold or mildew buildup. Clean up any salt creep and look for areas where the cabinetry might be damaged. Now, all sorts of stands are different depending on what you have. Some are a little bit sturdier than others. It's always good to do a visual inspection of this to make sure it's in tip-top shape. Moving down from the stand, you're probably going to encounter wires of some sorts between the lights and the wave makers, everything that's connected on your tank. You're going to encounter wires, and there's a good chance during the course of your maintenance that you had to unplug them. So make sure to go back and tidy up all of your wires and do a little bit of maintenance on them. Make sure that everything is routed and neat and organized, and when they're plugged in, you want to make sure that you can easily identify which goes to what piece of equipment. If you have to unplug anything in a pinch, it'll be a cinch. Moving on through the stand and the sump area, next thing you probably would come encounter with is a doser or dosing pump. Make sure that all of those lines are clean, that everything is running nice and smoothly. along the same lines as a doser. If you have a controller on your tank, there's a good chance that there are probes associated with that. Check the manufacturer's instructions because there's a good chance you will have to calibrate them every so often. So make sure you have all of the calibration equipment that you need, any of those solutions, and make sure to stay on top of keeping them calibrated so that you are getting accurate information from your controller. The next thing that I might encounter in my tank is my heater, the heating unit. In my personal experience, if I've ever found stray voltage in a tank, a lot of times it's due to a heater. So if you have a voltmeter, go ahead and maybe do a check. Make sure there's no stray voltage in your tank. Check to make sure that the heater itself is running as it should be. Make sure that it's calibrated and make sure that there's no buildup on the outside. If there is, go ahead and get it cleaned off so that it's nice and good. Moving further down into the sump, there's a good chance that you have a couple of pumps in there. Now, one of them is going to be attached to your skimmer. Now, if you're like me, when I do my regular maintenance, I am taking my skimmer cup off, cleaning it out pretty good. I'm emptying it on a regular basis, but I don't take my skimmer apart as regularly as I do my water changes. So this would be the time to do that. So you want to clean out that skimmer itself, but also you're going to want to deep clean the pump itself. Now hold on just a second. There's another pump likely that's in your system, and that would be your main pump or your return pump. That also needs to be cleaned. Again, we spend a lot of money on these pieces of equipment, and you want them to last long. When there's a lot of buildup like algae or sludge that's in there, they don't run as efficiently. So I've got a really easy tip to help you clean those. And this is actually a product that you can buy on SaltwaterAquarium.com. CJ makes this product. It's called Pump Clean. When you're done watching this video, make sure to go over to SaltwaterAquarium.com, order yourself a container of this so that you are set and ready to go when it comes time to clean your equipment. But since I have a container of it here, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how easy it is to clean your pumps with Pump Clean. I promise you it's going to save you a lot of frustration when it comes to getting off some of those harder calcareous deposits that have built up on your pumps. All right, I've got my pump clean. The instructions say that I need 4 scoops to 1 gallon. I know it's gonna take 2 gallons to fill the water so that it covers my pump, so I'm gonna need 8 scoops. I'm gonna go ahead and put on gloves because safety comes first. I'm gonna add my 2nd gallon of water, and then I'm going to add the scoops. All right. So here's our little measuring cup. I want to mix this until it's dissolved. All right, that didn't take long. Now, the only thing left to do is stick your pump in there. Now, your pump, power heads, etc. will soak in this for 2 to 3 hours, and everything that is on here has had a chance to break down. See how easy that was to use? Yep, just make sure when you're doing that you are wearing protective eyewear and you have your gloves on. And believe it or not, you can actually use this on a bunch of other household items. If you turn it here to the side, you can see all of those items that are listed. Okay, that is going to conclude this video, but before it ends, in case you weren't taking notes, take a photo or a screenshot of this screen so that you have a list of all of different pieces of equipment and things on your tank and in your stand and sump that you should regularly be maintaining. Put a reminder on your phone for several times a year to make sure that your equipment is going to last you as long as possible and run as efficiently as it possibly can. Okay, this has been Hilary for Waterlogged on behalf of SaltwaterAquarium.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.